we'll fit our first moderated mediation model in R using the promise dataset. First, I'll read in the data called promise MPX, and we'll take a look at the variables we have in this dataset. So here we have a binary indicator, clinical or not, source, whether the data were collected online or in person, and a bunch of different variables we won't be using for any analyses today. But for our first model, we'll need the moderator age, we will need the X variable pain, the mediator restless sleep, and the outcome trouble concentrating. We'll do a quick check of our descriptive statistics to check which variables have meaningful zeros and which ones do not. So here we see that our predictor pain has a meaningful 0 because it is measured on a scale that ranges from 0 to 10. So a value of 0 on pain means the lowest pain possible or no pain at all. Restless sleep, on the other hand, is measured on a scale from 1 to 5. So here we will have to do something to create a meaningful 0, and we would like 0 to represent the lowest possible score on this variable. Then our moderator age ranges from 18 to 89. Here, if we would like our coefficients in the model to be referring to age equals 0, we can mean center age. So this reference to age cent equals 0 is referencing somebody of average age in our sample. So we will mean center age. Now, in our next step, we will deal with the variables that don't have meaningful zeros in preparation for our analysis. Also, lavaan does not allow us to simultaneously assign a label and multiply two variables in the same model, and we will need to be assigning labels to different path coefficients because we'll need these path coefficients later on in our computations of the conditional indirect effects. So for that reason, I will create an interaction term for my moderation model outside of lavaan, and then I will simply reference this variable in my lavaan syntax. Here in line 19, first we are subtracting 1 from the scores on restless sleep, which will make this variable have a range from 0 to 4. So we're still preserving the order of the scores of our participants on this variable, but now instead of having 1 represent the lowest value on restless sleep, we have 0 representing the lowest value on restless sleep. We're making this change to the dataset by adding this new variable that I'm calling restless sleep cent, which is just our restless sleep variable, but shifted down by 1 unit. Next, in line 20, we are mean centering the variable age and creating a new column in the dataset that we're going to call age_cent. In line 23, we are creating our interaction term. This is the interaction between age-centered and restless sleep. So this is our interaction term that we'll be adding to the model for the outcome. We have to use the same centered variables that we'll use for the main effects in our computation of this interaction. So here I will be multiplying restless sleep cent by age cent. So in other words, the variables I created in line 19 and 20 are the variables I'm using to create my interaction term. Next, now that I have mean centered my age variable, our 25-year-olds in the dataset no longer have a score of 25 on mean centered age. So I'm computing the value of age cent that will be referring to the age 25. I'm doing that by subtracting the mean of age from the value 25. I'm going to be doing the same thing for age 40 and age 55. These now become the 3 values of the moderator for which I will compute conditional indirect effects, because in my estimation, I'll be using age cent, not the raw variable age. So I will run lines 25, 26, and 27. And let's see what are our moderator values after we have mean-centered age that refer to our 25-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and 55-year-olds. So 25-year-olds on age cent have a value of negative 27.47. 40-year-olds have a value of negative 12.47. And 55-year-olds have a value of 2.53 approximately. When I'm writing my syntax, I will take these values that I just calculated and enter them manually in my computation of conditional indirect effects. So actually, let me fix this annotation here. These are not simple slopes in the context of mediation analysis, but rather they are conditional indirect effects. We start our syntax model with the equation for the mediator. The mediator is restless sleep centered, and so here we only have the A path. Our pain variable already has a meaningful 0, so we're using it in its original form as it was found in the data set. Next, in lines 38 and 39, I'm specifying my model for the outcome, which is trouble concentrating. Here I'm labeling my C prime effect. Also, I'm labeling my B1 effect, which is the effect of centered restless sleep on the outcome trouble concentrating. So this is our B path for participants who have age cent and pain equal to 0. Then we have our B2 coefficient, which is the coefficient for the moderator. And finally, our B3 coefficient, which is multiplying our interaction between the moderator and the mediator. Now, this is the term that I have computed and added to the data set back in line 23. So now I'm referencing this new variable I had created outside of lavaan. Next, I don't know if we will find that we have significant moderation of the indirect effect, but in case we do, I'm going to define conditional indirect effects at different values of the moderator a priori. So here I am going to use the equation from the slides. So remember that for this model, our conditional indirect effect is equal to A times, in parentheses, B1 plus B3 times the W that we choose. For our 25-year-olds, the W value for age cent is negative 27.47123. For our 40-year-olds, the value is negative 12.47, and so on. So here, I'm creating these conditional indirect effects. If I find that there's no significant moderation of the indirect effect, we can simply ignore these, they won't matter. But it's no problem to compute them a priori because they are not treated as additional parameters in the model for degree of freedom purposes or for model fit. So here we'll have them if we need them, and if we don't, we simply won't consult this part of the output. So I'll create my syntax file, and then I will use the scm command in the package lavaan, and I will use the dataset promise_amp_x and request a summary with fit indices for my model with the interaction. Step 1 will be to examine fit indices for this model. So here we see that our chi-square test has 34.023 as the test statistic, 2 degrees of freedom, and a p-value of less than 0.05. So the chi-square test suggests that this model does not fit well. The CFI and the TLI are providing conflicting evidence regarding model fit. So here we see that the CFI is greater than 0.95, whereas the TLI is below 0.9. So CFI says the model fits well, TLI indicates that it has worse than adequate fit. The RMSEA is very high. It is equal to 0.102, and remember our cutoff is 0.05. And our SRMR also indicates that the model fits well. So far we're seeing pretty conflicting findings regarding the model fit. We'll proceed for illustration purposes, and we will see how we estimate the conditional indirect effects. In practice, we would see that this is not a great fitting model, and depending on theory and modification indices, we might try to modify it before evaluating the effects in the mediation model and before testing whether there's significant moderation of the indirect effect. In our regressions output, we see all of our structural paths that we have labeled, so our A path, C prime, and all of our B paths in the model for the outcome. We see the residual variances of our mediator and our outcome. First, let's focus on our interaction term. That will tell us whether the B path is moderated by the moderator W. In other words, this p-value will tell us whether the B path changes at different values of age. So here we have a p-value below 0.05. Therefore, we conclude that the B path is different at different levels of age cent. So let's move on and look at the defined parameters, which are our conditional indirect effects for 25-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and 55-year-olds. So here, looking at the estimates of the indirect effects, we see that the highest conditional indirect effect is found for the youngest participants. So this tells us that pain has the strongest indirect effect on trouble concentrating through restless sleep for the 25-year-old group. As our participants get older, we see that the indirect effect gets slightly smaller. We see that for older participants, the indirect effect seems to be attenuated. However, we don't know if any of these conditional indirect effects are significantly different from zero because we cannot rely on the p-value that's printed out here based on the assumption that the indirect effect is normally distributed. So what we have to do next is compute bootstrap confidence intervals for the conditional indirect effects. We'll do that using familiar syntax we've previously used. So here we just need to list our current model name and data set, and we will request 1000 resamples of our data set. We've obtained the results of our bootstrap command. Here we focus immediately on our conditional indirect effects, which are the last three parameters. So here we see that all three conditional indirect effects are statistically significant and positive. So what we conclude from this analysis is that pain has a positive effect on trouble concentrating through changes in restless sleep. Here, positive means that pain is increasing troubles with concentration through changes in restless sleep. This effect is most pronounced for younger participants. Here we defined younger as being 25. It's slightly less pronounced for participants who are 40 and slightly less pronounced for participants who are 55.